back. Got all the cameras all rigged up, ready to roll. It's been a long stretch of guiding for me the last little bit here at Viking. It's been awesome, been busy, been great. But today we're gonna go out, do some filming. Today we're gonna chase after some, hopefully big pike. That's one thing I haven't really done too much yet here since I've been settling into Viking, is chasing after big pike. Just because the walleye fishing is just so unreal and the lake trout fishing has been so good too. So honestly, I haven't really had the need to go chase after different species. So today we're gonna set walleye and lake trout aside and we're gonna go chase after some pike and hopefully pull in some big jumbos. I've been exploring a little bit and I found some areas that I think will be good. So we're gonna check out these areas, hopefully sink some hooks into some big pike, get them in front of the camera and see what we can do. If you want my future, forget my past. If you wanna get with me, better make it fast. Now don't go wasting my precious time. Get your act together, we'll be just fine. All right, we have made it out to the area we're gonna fish. We got the perfect little breeze just pushing all the bait fish in towards this little bay here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start out in the deeper water and we're gonna start casting some bigger, heavier baits and work that little bit deeper water as we drift in. And as we get in, the weeds start to get a little bit higher, a little bit taller. So then we're gonna go to some baits that'll be more kind of subsurface, just under the surface. Stuff will be able to work just below the surface, above all the weeds. So right now, I'm just gonna get a couple rods ready here. Get the trolling motor down. Let's get that trolling motor down. Ready to rock. There we go. Trolling motor is in action. Let me get a couple pike rods out here. So the pike rods I'm using today are Timber Wilderness. These are prototype rods. This is the musky style rod. This one is an 8'3", medium heavy, moderate fast, 65 to 80 pound braid rated for. And this one here is more Esox kind of style, like more pike style. And this one here is an 8 foot heavy, moderate fast for 10 to 30 pound line, 1 to 4 ounces. So I'll be using a little bit smaller stuff on this rod and a little bit bigger, heavier duty stuff on this rod here. So what I'm gonna do here is, this is a spinner. It's a drop tine spinner. I'm not gonna use that right now. I'll probably use this later in the day. But for right now, I'm gonna put something a little bit bigger, a little bit heavier on. Something more like maybe a bulldog or Medusa, something like that. Something I can get down there a little bit deeper. Maybe I'll actually start out with this Shadzilla. Got a good feeling about this thing. I'll try that Shadzilla to start. This is kind of like a big swim bait, heavier duty, so it sinks quite a bit faster. So I'll be able to cast it out and work it in the little bit deeper water efficiently. So instead of not a split ring, sorry, instead of a snap, I actually like to use split rings on my pike leaders just so I know for sure that that bait is not coming off. There's gonna be no issues. I've just had a lot of issues in the past with snaps opening up and stuff like that. So the last couple of years, I've kind of started going to more split rings just to avoid that issue of losing baits and losing fish and such. Okay, there we go. We got that rigged up. And the first thing I'm gonna do before I even start fishing or anything is I'm gonna get my net ready and pliers and everything like that, because pike fishing, stuff happens quick and it's important to have your tools ready. So we're gonna get this big net out here, the big clam net. So clam net out here, get it ready to rock. I'm just gonna lay it up here so it's ready to go in the middle. Get my trolling motor remote on. I might just throw this live scope down just to look around, see if I see any particular fish, and I'll cast right at them. But with pike, I usually tend to just kind of fan cast areas. But we'll get this in for the sake of it anyway. I'll be able to show you guys the weeds and stuff I'm fishing too on the live scope, so that'll help for educational purposes. So you can see here, I got the live scope in now. I just started recording here on my phone, but you can see here as I look around,
You can see there's some weeds starting to come up just over here, lower weeds. There's a few fish in amongst them. A lot of them will probably actually be walleye. There's some taller weeds out here too. So we're just gonna start working through this area. Just gonna cast, 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 and keep casting until we hopefully hook a big pike. So like I said, I'm using bigger baits, bigger rods, heavy duty equipment. I'm running 65-pound braid. And then what I have here is I have, this is a little bit short, but I have a 12-inch, 80-pound titanium leader. And like I said, I just run a little split ring on there as opposed to the snaps. This is just training for the muskie trip this fall that I'm doing again with John Paul and Greg. Last year I made a video going for muskie with those two guys, and it was an absolute blast. But this year I got to make sure I'm in better shape for it because I was hurting last year. There's one right away. Second cast. Second cast out. Got a pike right away. It's definitely not a big one because I'm hauling it in so quick, but it's definitely a pike. And that thing absolutely inhaled that bait. Holy smokes. Look at that thing. Absolutely inhaled it. First pike of the day. That's an excellent start. Give you guys a quick look at him. First pike of the day. Not a bad fish, not a great fish, but not a bad start either. That's a nice, like maybe 35-inch pike. Super light colored, but that thing came up and crushed the bait. Get her back in there. See ya. Slimed up. With these pike, you can definitely use smaller baits too. You're just gonna have to wean through a lot more fish. Whereas what I'm doing is I'm just trying to use a little bit bigger baits to try to basically catch less fish, but just bigger fish. I'm hoping that the wind noise isn't too bad. It is getting kind of windy. It's supposed to get windier as the day goes on too. So I'm hopefully just gonna come out here, film a sick video in the morning, and then go back and maybe edit it this afternoon if I'm lucky. Fingers crossed. I'm gonna take a couple more casts here, then I'm gonna move the boat over a little bit more. Come on, Mr. Pike. Come on, Mr. Pike. There's one. Oh, and absolutely smoked it too. This one kind of feels smaller, but it's staying down. Oh no, it's not that small. It's not that small. We got a good fish here, guys. Get this net out. Easy. Netting big pike, muskie, stuff like this is not easy by yourself, but it is doable. Just gotta take your time and be careful. This is a good fish though. Wow. These pike are on fire right now. This is like literally, I've been fishing for pike for like 5 minutes. Wow. That's a good fish. Probably a high 30s for sure. Oh man, he's just barely hooked. Get in the net, dude. Oh no. This reminds me of the spring when I failed in that one video I made. Oh, he got off right there. Son of a gun. Oh no. Okay, we got him. Just barely. That was brutal net job again, but we got him in the net. Wow, okay, he's out. He's unhooked. Absolutely mangled my bait. But we got him in the net. Wow, that's lucky. I really need a net, man. Okay, let me just get this pike out of the net here. This is a good fish. Super fat and stout. Oh my goodness, that's a nice pike. Look at that thing. That is a super fat, super sassy pike. Look at the back on that thing. That thing is so fat. Not crazy, crazy long, but that thing makes up for its length in weight, that is for sure. I'll get a quick measurement on it, just so we know. But this thing is so fat, goodness me. This is 39-inch pike. 39-inch pike for the second fish of the day. Not a bad fish by any means. To me, that's a nice fish for second fish of the day. Look at that. Wow. So looks like maybe I should be spending a bit more time up here at Viking Lodge pike fishing. Unreal walleye, unreal lake trout. And now I opened a whole new can of worms here, knowing that there's giant pike in here too. So there'll be some more pike videos coming. Well, considering we haven't even moved the boat yet, I'm going to take another cast or two here. Two decent pike. Well, one was a nice one, but two good sized pike in the first. I don't even know how long it's been. I'll have to check the GoPro clip, but I think it's only been like 5 minutes. With pike fishing, especially with like bigger baits like this, I find like these big swim baits like this, it's like finding that sweet spot where it's like your speed, where it's like it's just fast enough, you're not dragging through the weeds every cast, but it's just fast enough, you're getting the bait moving properly and you're up out of the weeds. I'm just focusing on going the speed as slow as I can, just so that rod tip is just thumping side to side, so I know that that paddle tail is just kicking just right. Okay, so I moved this over a little bit, about 120 feet, 130 feet. Just enough so I'm not overlapping the same casting areas again. So we're gonna keep chucking around. Honestly, like when big pike are biting, there's nothing comparable to like just catching big pike after big pike. It's so fun just feeling those big fish just come and just thump it like that. Oh my goodness, that one almost knocked me off my feet. Oh my goodness, that one feels heavy. Goodness me, that one feels heavy. Oh my gosh. That one literally almost knocked me right off my feet. This one's heavy duty, it's staying down good. Wow. This is a heavy fish, man. Oh my gosh, this is unbelievable. Wow, that thing hammered it so hard. Gotta get this net ready here. This fish is like just absolutely dogging me right now. I honestly can hardly believe how hard this fish is fighting. It's crazy. Oh my goodness, that's a nice pike. That's a nice big pike. Oh my gosh. Look at that thing. Get in the net. Oh, that thing absolutely inhaled it too. Come on, get in the net, dude. Get in the net. Yes! What is going on right now? This is like some of the best pike fishing I've ever seen. Wow, that was insane. That thing literally hit me so hard, I almost fell over. And I'm not even lying, you guys saw it. That is a nice pike, wow. Like, look at that bait. That bait is just fully inhaled. That is crazy that fish just inhaled that big bait so fast like that. Now we gotta do some surgery here to get this thing out. Goodness. Okay, we got the bait out. So let's get a look at this big giant pike. Oh my goodness, that's a big one. Wow, this thing is huge. Look at the size of that thing. That's a giant one. And that thing hit it so hard. Oh my goodness. So fat, so healthy. Man, I gotta do some more pike fishing out here. Oh my goodness, that's a nice pike. So fat. That one there is 41 and a half. 41 and a half inch, mega fat sumo pike. Absolutely crushed that bait. Like, look at the gut on that thing. That is unreal. Wow. This pike fishery is definitely slept on. Oh my goodness. This is like literally like my first day like going out to target pike all year. And man, is it paying off. I was literally just saying as that fish bit how they're so hard to beat big pike, especially when they're actively feeding like this. And then that thing almost knocked me out of my boots. Wow. And I literally just moved over like 100 feet from where I was like 10 minutes ago. That was literally my first cast since I moved. But that's why you got to have the heavy rods and heavy line, because like big fish like that, like you got to be able to manhandle those fish into the boat, because if you let them fight for too long, pike, as much as rough and tough of a fish they seem, they are still very delicate, and you got to take good care of them. Man, big fish just busted like right here. Yeah, as much as a big and rough and tough fish they seem to be, they are still very fragile and very delicate. So it's, oh wow, that one bit. Oh my gosh, I can't even get a sentence in here. This is ridiculous. Another nice pike too. What the heck? This is insane. What is going on? This is ridiculous. Oh my goodness. Another nice one. Not quite as big as that last one, but this one's still like a mid to high 30s, that's for sure. My goodness me. This is getting out of hand. That one's just barely hooked. Give you another look at another nice pike out of the cranberry system. This is ridiculous. I can't even get over this pike fishing right now. Like, that's another nice pike. This is like a 36, 37, maybe 38. We'll get a quick measure and get a look at her here. Oh my goodness, this is crazy. Another 37 and a half. So this is another 37 and a half. So far, we've been pike fishing for like 20 minutes. We've gotten 4 fish over 37 and a half. Unreal. Wow. Just gorgeous. So if you're looking to do some pike fishing, looking to do some walleye fishing, looking to do some lake trout fishing, you better come up here to Viking Lodge, because this is kind of ridiculous. Pike are definitely slept on out here. I can't believe I spent all summer barely fishing for them. That's the beautiful thing about being up here in northern Manitoba, is you have such good walleye fisheries, lake trout fisheries, and pike fisheries. So it's like, if you come up for a trip, and even if the lake trout are not biting, or the walleye are not biting, or it's too rough to get out on lake trout water, whatever, you have such good fishing opportunities, like the walleye, the pike, and even like some of the lakes up here have enormous stocked rainbow trout and brook trout. So it's like you have such excellent fishing opportunities up here that no matter what time of year you come up, there's always going to be some fish biting. You just got to be able to adapt and go after whatever species they are. There's just so many lakes up here. Like, you can fish your whole life up here and never even wet your line in half of the lakes that are up here. It's just unbelievable. Well, I think that's officially the longest I've gone without a bite, is 2 casts. So slowing down a little bit, maybe? Tell me you're spoiled without telling me you're spoiled. Well, I guess watching this video, you know I'm spoiled. Oh my goodness, a big pike literally just followed that thing up as I was reeling it in, like all bent up and messed up like that. That's unreal. I wonder if I'd be able to get these fish to eat topwater right now. See if I can get a few more fish on this, and I might get ambitious and try a topwater bait. My bait's tangled up again. If you're casting big baits like this for pike, and you notice, or pike or muskie, and you notice that your baits are getting tangled a lot, like that, like all fouled up, what you need to do is, as that bait is starting to come down from your cast, just start applying your thumb a little bit, just to make that bait pendulum out straight, as opposed to landing all tangled up and stuff. So if you can make that bait pendulum out straight, you're gonna find you don't get fouled up near as much. Pendulum it out, and there we go. Oh, just had a bump there, a little shove. Lots of times those pike, they'll come and they'll hit your bait from behind so hard that what actually happens is, as you're reeling in, it'll almost feel like it gets loose all of a sudden, like a bump. And it's those fish literally hitting it so hard from behind, they push it up towards you like a couple feet, so you end up reeling up a couple feet of slack before they actually engulf it sometimes. And as for pike baits and stuff like that, earlier this year, at the start of the year, I made a video kind of talking about the top 5 baits I recommend you have for pike. So be sure to check out that video too. In this video, I'm not going to go over all the different kinds of baits just because this video we're actually catching fish. In that video, I just sat down on the lake and actually went over the different baits I recommend you carry for pike fishing. Basically what I'm doing is I'm just going around right now. I'm jogging the boat over, like usually 150 feet each time. And I'm just anchor locking and I'm just working like a clock. I'm doing a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Just casting every different direction as I sit anchor locked, and then I move over to another spot. With pike, it's really important to keep working water. Like, don't get stuck working the same water over and over. There we go. There's some perfect cabbage. That's what we're talking about. That's what those pike are sitting on in here. That kind of cabbage, that bright green cabbage, it can hold so much bait fish, so much forage. And if you can find it when it's bright and green, you will definitely find the pike on it too. But as that weed starts to die, it seems like as it starts to decompose, fish kind of just start to move away from it. So as that weed starts to get a little brown, a little orange, starts to deteriorate a bit, you're gonna need to go move around and find some more water. Oh, that was a good bite. That one, like I said earlier, how sometimes they'll hit it and knock it ahead a few feet. That one just did that there, that's for sure. Usually when they hit it and push it ahead that far, usually they're bigger fish, because smaller fish usually won't be able to get that much weight and push something like the size of this big bait around. There's one. Another nice one too, not quite as big as that 41 earlier, but this is another like mid to high 30s. That one crushed it. Oh my gosh, get in the net, dude. In the basket, unhooked. Oh my goodness. That one bit kind of close to the boat, and I actually managed to get him into the boat a lot quicker than I think it thought I would. So it's got some spunk. So this one might be a little feisty. It's got some spunk. Settle down. Settle down. Settle down. Easy there, Tiguan. Nice. Pike. Again, not a super tank, this one here, but this is another nice, probably 36, 37 incher. Gorgeous pike. Beautiful colors. All slimed up and ready to rock. Get back in there, you greaser. Anywhere where you're able to catch this quality of pike, this consistently, is awesome. And today, so far, has been unreal. I've literally only been filming 30 minutes. Like on the GoPro, it says I've only been filming 30 minutes. This is unreal. So now that this bait's getting pretty mangled up here, you can see that it's getting pretty gashed up and ripped up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna melt it back together. That's another thing you can do with your big pike baits, especially your soft plastics, obviously, is melt them all back together. So I got my little torch here, and I'm just gonna try to melt this plastic all back together. Get it all to stick there, and just keep working my way down. Just keep on working my way down this bait here. You can see here all I'm doing is literally just getting the torch in there. The wind's blowing it out. Just getting the torch in there, heating up this rubber, melting it, and then I'm just sticking it back together onto itself. So now you can see after that, this bait is all re-glued back here on the bottom. It's all back together. So now it shouldn't be fouling up as much, hopefully. Go with my 1 o'clock. I think that working the clock, like the clock method, I think is definitely the best method for like fishing any new water, especially like if you're casting, obviously, right? But for pike, walleye, bass, anything, like just keep casting new water until you find them. 3 o'clock. Wow, that's heavy. That's heavy duty. That's a heavy duty fish. Three o'clock. Oh yeah, that's a good one. Came up a little quicker than I thought. I could probably get it in the net now if I could curry before it freaks out. Oh, it's freaking out. Oh, it's freaking out. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh. Get in the net. Oh, wow. My net skills are so bad when I'm by myself. 3 o'clock. That thing absolutely mangled that bait down his throat. Oh my goodness. Wow, these pike are just unbelievable out here. Don't flip. And what do? Dude, I'm trying to help you, bro. Pulling stunts like that. Come on. There we go, the hook's out. That bait is absolutely mangled. I'll show you guys that bait after. That's crazy how mangled it is. This one's a bit of a slim jim, but still quite long. Look at that thing. Another gorgeous, gorgeous pike. This is unbelievable. Literally probably the best pike fishing I've ever experienced. And this is another 39 and a half inch pike. This is ridiculous. Gorgeous fish though. Wow. A little bit skinny, still put up a good scrap. Hit that bait with some force. Get her back down there to be caught again. Gorgeous, gorgeous pike. Look at that beautiful fish. Nothing like getting a good sweat on a Sunday morning, eh? Unreal. Okay, I'll show you guys the absolute massacre that pike made of this bait here. This bait is mangled. So obviously it pummeled my bait, destroyed all the melting work I just did. And this is what I'm left with. Look at that unit. That's how you know you're having a good day. When you start with a bait and you end up with this, only 42 minutes in so far. This is unbelievable. Bait is absolutely mangled. Wowee. The wind's starting to pick up, starting to get a little greasy out here. So we're gonna head back in. I'm gonna start editing up this video, hopefully get it out there before the end of the week for you guys to see. So stay tuned, there'll be more videos pumping out as we get into the fall here. Start doing some walleye videos, some lake trip videos again. And definitely, I think we'll be doing some more pike videos because we were catching some big fat buffet bandits today. There was quite a few big chunky ones here in this area. So we'll be back for more, but don't forget, check out Viking Lodge. If you're ever thinking about coming up to Northern Manitoba, it's definitely the place to be. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you guys on the next adventure.